Hi, this is Andrew Wolf. In this video I'm going to talk about the portal circulation, and in the next video I'm going to talk about the liver lobules and the sinusoids. And the sinusoids are a very important part of the picture of portal circulation. So before going on to talk about portal hypertension and the diseases there, you really sort of need to understand what the sinusoid is and how it works. So in this video I'm really just going to briefly introduce portal circulation. Then in the next video I'll talk about the sinusoids and a little bit more about hepatic physiology, and then I'll go on to create a video about portal hypertension. Okay, so the portal vein. The portal vein is the vein that drains the entire GI tract from the distal part of the esophagus through the stomach, the small bowel, the colon, all the way down to the rectum. So it drains almost the entire GI tract from the distal esophagus to the rectum. And now, if you remember, in just sort of basic review of circulation, usually you have arteries that break down into arterioles and then go down into a capillary bed, and then after going through a small capillary bed, spread back up into venules, and these venules make their way to one of the major veins, like the IVC or the SVC, and go back to the heart. Okay, so we have artery, capillary bed, and then vein. So that's the usual state of affairs. However, when we have a portal vein system, what we have is, and I remember introducing this when I talked about the anterior pituitary gland, because it's the other place in the body where we have a portal vein system. So with the portal vein system, what we have is our arteries, arterioles, and capillaries, and then veins, and then these veins, instead of going to the IVC or the SVC, one of the major veins, they drain into a portal vein. And then we have the portal vein breaks up again into venules, and there's a whole second capillary bed here. And then that second capillary bed opens up into veins again, and then the second capillary bed drains in to the inferior vena cava. Okay, so we have here a portal vein, and then we have capillary bed 1, and capillary bed 2. So a portal vein is essentially just a vein that lies between two interconnected capillary beds. Now obviously, a typical capillary bed starts out with relatively high pressures, right? Because we've got arterial pressures. So the pressures in the beginning here are arterial pressures. But portal veins are very low pressure. In fact, the portal vein of the liver has a pressure, an average normal pressure of about 10 millimeters of mercury. And by the time we get back to the inferior vena cava, we're down to about 2 millimeters of mercury. So anyways, this is a very low pressure but still high flow system going through this capillary bed. And it's very prone to, if something happens and this capillary bed stenoses down and gets narrow, and there is increased resistance, there is not a lot of extra pressure here to deal with that extra resistance. So if we have significant problems in this capillary bed that's increasing resistance, we're going to end up with what's called portal hypertension. And portal hypertension is going to, it doesn't take much of a rise of pressure to cause significant problems, because a slight increase in resistance is going to cause a significant decrease in flow. And since this is the only normal mechanism for draining the entire GI tract, decreases in flow have serious repercussions. Okay, so that's just a quick introduction to portal hypertension. We'll talk about it a little bit more. So anyways, keep this two capillary bed system in mind. So remember, and I'm not going to go through the entire arterial supply of the gut, but the gut has its own arterial supply. It breaks down into these very rich, numerous capillary beds where all of our nutrients are absorbed within the GI tract, and then it narrows down into, and then it opens up into veins again. And in these veins, say we're draining from the small bowel, and we're obviously draining up here. We join the superior mesenteric vein, and the superior mesenteric vein joins up with the splenic vein and inferior mesenteric vein, and creates the portal vein. And then it flows into the liver, and then from the liver, after it flows through lots and lots of capillaries, and these capillaries in the liver, because they're so specialized and unique, they get their own name. So the capillaries in the liver are called sinusoids, and we'll talk about those in the next video. Then all these sort of join together and form a bunch of hepatic veins, and these hepatic veins join into the inferior vena cava that happens to be flowing conveniently right by the center of the liver. So this here is capillary bed number 2. The sinusoids. And capillary bed number 1 is here in the gut. Stomach, gut, the entire GI tract. And then we have the portal vein in the middle. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about with the portal circulation, just a brief introduction. And please join me in my next video where I talk about the sinusoids and sort of the hepatic physiology that starts off in the sinusoids and then sort of works its way into the hepatocytes and various other cells in the liver. Okay. As always, if you found this video helpful, please take a second to click on the thumbs up to give me feedback, and I'm always willing to entertain questions. You can put them in the comments below, and I look at the comments quite frequently, and I will answer them if I'm able to. And also, I'm going to put a little link for you to subscribe to my channel if you want quick and easy access to my videos. Thank you very much.